The altar of the Saints Flora and Lucilla's church was erected between 1570 and 1574 by Giorgio Vasari. Initially, it was meant for his family chapel in the Pieve of Arezzo. In 1864, during the medieval renovation of the Pieve, it was dismantled and then recomposed in the Vasarian church of Badia, which was considered more suitable for its collocation. However, the altar appeared to be excessive and bulky if compared to the church's structure because it occluded the view of the rear part reserved for the choir. The altar was created with a double purpose. It was meant to be the high altar of the church and the family altar as well. For this reason, we can distinguish two parts of the structure. One is pointed towards the longitudinal body of the church, and the other pointed to the choir, with one of these reserved for the clergy. Furthermore, it was initially designed as a mausoleum for the family, and, accessible by a ladder, it should have held the remains of Giorgio, his ancestors, and his wife. The tomb altar, of a Manneristic and pre-Baroque style, is made out of wood painted with marbled and golden paintings, integrated with pure marble and travertine parts. It presents many decorative elements and, arranged in the sides, the 23 canvases painted by Giorgio and his colleagues. The canvases are arranged in the four faces of the altar on different levels. The central one is made up by 6 big tables showing several saints. The inferior one is a predella that shows the life of the saints shown above, and lastly, the upper is made of 4 circles that represent allegoric virtues. Furthermore, on the back, 2 birds with the ancestors of Giorgio, and in the front, within a novel, the Assumption of the Virgin. The big painting at the center, by Giorgio Vasari, represents the story of the apostles Peter, Andrew, James, and John. This masterpiece has a particular story behind it. The Pope Giulio III, from Arezzo, who commissioned it to decorate the Pontifex Chapel, forgot to pay the artisans. His successor, Paolo IV, when asked for the payment by Giorgio, preferred to give the painting back, which was then placed on the family altar. On the right, there is a rectangular board which shows the saints George and Paul. On top of this, there is a circular painting representing the allegory of faith, and in the predella, there is Saint George and the princess. On the left, in a symmetrical way, a wooden board shows Saints Donato and Stefano, surmounted by a painting of the allegory of the religion. Below, there is a predella, a sort of platform, with the miracle of the goblet of San Donato. On the decorated tympanum, there is an oval of the Assumption of the Holy Virgin. There is a wooden crucifix between 2 statues of Mary and Saint Cosimo. There is a tabernacle in the frontal altar. It is temple-shaped with 2 little side columns. On the small door, there is a painting of Christ risen from death, attributed to Stradano. On the right side of the altar, there is a canvas that shows Saint Lazzaro and Maddalena. Their features resemble those of Giorgio Vasari and his wife, Niccolò Sabacci. Up above, there is a representation of the allegory of the Compassion in a tondo, a circular painting, and, in the predella, the resurrection of Lazzaro. On the back, in the middle, a big canvas depicts Saint George freeing the princess from the dragon, painted by Vasari in collaboration with the Flemish painter Stradano. At the bottom, on the left, there is a double portrait of the ancestors of the artist, which was removed in 1977 and never found. On the right, there is a double portrait of his parents, Maddalena Tacci and Antonio Vasari. On the left-hand side of the altar, San Francis of Assisi and Antonio Abate are painted on canvas. In the tondo on top, there is an allegory of passions, and in the predella, the stigmata of San Francis. In front of the high altar, there has recently been collocated a new altar for the believers, which shows a valuable paliotto from the 15th century, probably around 1478, attributed to Bernardo di Stefano Rosselli. In the middle, inside a tondo, there are Saints Flora and Lucilla. They have palms and an oil lamp, and they are surrounded by a field painted of red and gold brocade with garland and pomegranate flowers. Above, there are 3 little tondos depicting Saints Scholastica, Benedetto, and Justina. At the sides, there are 2 bands depicting the coat of arms of the Mellini and Serragli family.